Hello, GotAUkulele back with another look at an instrument. It's a brand that I've not featured before. It's a brand that has its base in Australia, and that brand is Ashton, who are a fairly big musical instrument brand. Make a lot of ukuleles, make a lot of guitars. This is their entry-level UKE100 Soprano. Now, I say they're an Australian company. This is actually made in China, but they proudly exclaim on their packaging that everything is designed in Australia. Now, it's a standard soprano. I'm not entirely sure what special design cues they've sent from Australia to China. Looks pretty generic to me, but there we are. So, standard double bout soprano. It's made of laminate linden wood, which is lime. There's no getting away from it. This is really, really cheap plywood. It's really thick plywood. It's actually one of the nastiest ukulele bodies I think I've ever come across. It's just horrible and thick, and ugh. It's painted in this kind of poster paint brown. They do a lot of other bright colours as well, which seem a bit glossier, but this has kind of got a matte finish. And I'm afraid this arrived with me from the dealer in a terrible state. I mean, there's chips on it. The paint is flaking off, and actually, you know, it's really easy for the paint, look, the paint to flake off. It's just so thin. It's got black marks on it, it's got bubbles, and it's got a really horrible feel to it. It's strange. Single piece top, single piece back, but it's all laminate, and it's all pretty awful, really. We've got no decoration other than a sound hole rosette, which isn't quite put on centrally. The bridge is a slotted style screwed in place. It seems to be painted black, which worries me as to what the wood is and why they needed to paint it black. We've got a straight plastic saddle and this really weird sort of corrosion fungus going on in there. It's absolutely horrible. I don't know what the neck is constructed of because it's painted. It's actually got quite a nice shallow profile, to be fair to Ashton, but again, the finish it's just, you know, it's absolutely terrible. On top of that, they say they've got a layered rosewood fingerboard. I don't know what a layered fingerboard is, whether it's just means it's laminate. It might do, because those frets seem to be set directly into the neck wood, and the black you're seeing there is paint. It's a painted black fingerboard. That's horrible. The frets, 12 of them to the body, they're made of brass. They are really sharp on the edges. I mean, seriously sharp. One of the worst I've ever seen. You hear that? Imagine what that's going to do when you rub your finger up and down on runs. And also you've got this really weird filler going on the neck joint. I mean, who knows how big the gap was in there that they're badly trying to hide. Yeah. Plastic nut. Interesting shaped headstock, fair play, pretty gaudy looking logo there, but there we are, and it's also poorly finished and not quite painted properly at the top. And then some of the worst geared tuners I've ever seen. Massive buttons, really loads of play on them, they wobble, some of them grind, some of them are loose, and then really weirdly you get this Ashton holographic sticker of authenticity, just so you know that you're getting a genuine Ashton. Yeah, okay. Very cheap nylon strings, and it comes with a next to useless thin gig bag, and that's all for about 23 quid. So absolute beginner instrument, absolute cheapest end you can get. I think, as you can probably tell, I'm not a big fan of this, but it gets worse. I've got to play it yet. I mean, fair play to them, it's kind of balanced, but for a soprano it feels really heavy, and that's because this body is thick. It's and it, as I say, it just feels horrible on the hands. It's not tacky, but it kind of feels like unfinished, like the paint's like you're going to play it for a while and you're going to end up with a brown hand. It's like poster paint. No, I don't like that, but there we are. Took ages for the strings to get in tune. Cover your ears. I mean, there's literally no sustain. Particularly the C string. I mean, what is that? Here we go. God, that's awful. Now, the setup, strangely, is actually all right at the nut. I think that's more through luck than judgment. And that's kind of blown out of all proportion because I don't think that bridge is set properly. I think that bridge is slightly off, and that's going to throw the intonation, and that's what you're hearing. Oh dear me. Do you know what? You know what it sounds like? It sounds like what people who really hate the ukulele but have never heard the ukulele assume a ukulele sounds like. And that's pretty damning. Now, it's a bad instrument, and I'm not angry with Ashton just because it's a bad instrument. I mean, it's not the only bad instrument out there, and it is cheap. The reason I'm angry is because Ashton have quite a range of instruments. They are not a cheap discount store brand. They're not a Who Are They brand. They're not just knocking something out as a toy. They market this as an actual instrument alongside a range of other instruments. And if you're a brand like that, you get a certain amount of credence and credit and kudos. And because of that, people will look at that and go, well, it's an Ashton. Hey, it's even got a sticker of authenticity. This must be what ukuleles sound like. Go on to Amazon, look at some of the 5-star reviews of this one, people saying it's absolutely fantastic. It's because they think that this is what a ukulele is like. It's not. This is terrible. Ukulele shouldn't sound like this, and for Ashton to actually put their name to it, that's what's making me angry. That's what's making me annoyed, because it is perpetuating the myth that ukuleles sound plinky-plonky, like toys, they're not serious, and setup doesn't matter, which of course we all know does. This is just... I just want to smash it. One of the worst instruments I've come across on GotAUkulele. It's not the only bad instrument, but you know, this is just awful. Ashton, you should be ashamed of yourselves. This is terrible. I will be back very soon. Hopefully have something better for you to look at than this one. I'm just going to go and start a bonfire.